What's going on, guys? How are y'all doing today? Well, I just want to make this video to show some plants that people can use for wildlife. So, to start out with this guy here, water oak. This leaf comes up to 3 lobes here. 1, 2, 3. It's kind of rotten off. You can't really see. This one's a pretty decent one. Usually they look like that. They drop a bunch of acorns. You can kind of see a few of them still laying down here on the ground. There's a green one right there. But what's great about these guys is they drop for a really long time and they start late. A lot of people don't seem to like them hunting deer because they are a red oak, which means their acorn takes 2 years to mature before it can fall. So this year's crop was actually made the spring before this past one. So, but they are a good mass producer. They drop when is it? They start dropping in like October, November, and they have so many acorns they drop until February sometimes. So it's always there, and that's why some hunters don't in particularly like them, because they're like, well, it's still here. Yeah, it's still here because it just dropped. It gives them more food to eat. So another tree here that ain't half bad for wildlife, not in particularly deer, is this guy. It's either a sugar maple or a silver maple. You can tell it's not a red maple because it doesn't have a red stem on the leaves. But you see all these holes here? These are either from insects or birds that drill in there and get all the sweet sap out of them. Use that for food. They also produce some seeds and nuts as well, but again, it's mainly a bird species kind of tree. But that is a decent one to have for songbirds and stuff like that. The tree that most people associate good for like squirrels and stuff is that guy there, pecan tree. So let's take a look at him. So this guy, what's up, Rodeo? What's it? Get down, get down. Anyway, so this guy's pretty good, as you can see, for the nuts it produces. Very tasty. Humans like them just as much as wildlife does. Looks like some sort of moth or worm or something. Decided to make some nests in here, in this one, unfortunately, but it's great for its mass production. And also, this yard looks semi-nice, right? Well, it looks semi-nice because we just cut it. Looks nice for us, doesn't look nice for wildlife. Because it's all neat, all clean, not really any place to hide. That's not what wildlife wants. So they want places they can go hide, and everything. So, alright. Another oak tree that's really good, arguably the best oak tree, is the sawtooth oak. And you can tell that because it has, its leaves come to tips and they have hairs on them. And it's the only oak, I believe, in North America that's like that. But it's a nice oak to have because it is a red oak too, so it will produce acorns. Say if it drops this year, it produced them 2 years ago. So, but on the flip side, it produces once it's about 6 or 7 years old. Compare that to your typical white oak, which produces at about 20-25 years old, maybe. So, unfortunately, with a sawtooth oak, it only produces on good soil, good conditions. But they're really good. Red oak, and the difference between red oak and white oak, other than the taste, supposedly, it's dog's over here enjoying the nice little fresh cut grass. Anyway, but the difference between a red oak and a white oak is that the red oak takes 2 years to produce its acorn. White oak takes, the acorns it drops were produced earlier this spring. So what you see on the ground from your white oaks is going to be were produced from flower this spring. Red oak was produced last year, which if you get a good balance between your red oaks and your white oaks, then you have, when the frost hits, you have a solid acorn crop from one of them, typically your red oak. If the frost hits, your white oak is toast. But if you have enough red oaks, then you have enough to sustain a little bit. So, I came over here to show you guys all this stuff. Now, this all looks like crap, right? Like, I think it's pretty hard to tell, but there is actually a fence right there that all this stuff has been growing into it. We have Chinese privet, or depending on who you ask, American Chinese privet, because there's no way we get rid of it anymore. And we have, looks like some red tips, but it's mostly privet that has taken this over, which is good and bad. As you can see, it creates a lot of structure, so songbirds, stuff like that, can all fly in here and have some shelter. There's probably quite a few bird nests in here, probably just on the other side of the fence. I can't see them. But privet ain't all bad. Deer do eat it. And actually the berries that it produces is eaten by songbirds, just like your holly bushes. But privet's not terrible, but I mean, some places use it as hedges. Sorry, had to throw that in there. But so this sucker right here, though, he's a little bit of a problem. Believe it or not, that is This whole freaking, look at it. It's basically grown into a tree. That's privet. That is all privet. And here's the berries that I was talking about. They will ripen up and birds will go crazy over them. So, privet. Not all bad, but not all good either. So, here's another tree that, well, it's kind of finally died, but this tree here, better known as that tree, locust, as you can, don't know if you can see it, but there are a few birds flying into and around that tree there. Locust trees, not bad. They have annoying pricks in them that or thorns, pricklers. Anyway, thorns that if you're cutting grass around them, it's annoying because flat tires are inevitable. But it's a solid, good sized tree that really hard wood again creates habitat. And believe it or not, this guy, even though it's dead, it's pretty good. Dead trees create habitat too, because you need some standing dead trees or snags to create habitat for like your woodpeckers and everything like that prey on all these annoying insects that are trying to kill trees. So, but I brought y'all over here to show you something. This guy here. These purple berries here. They create a purple dye. So, as you can see, it already kind of turned my hand purple, but it's shade. Okay, so yeah. These guys, I'm gonna get a couple seeds. There's the actual seeds. This thing's called pokeberry, or pokeberry, I'm not really sure which, but deer love them. Deer love to eat the berries. Birds will eat the berries, and deer will actually eat the stalk when it's growing and it's green. So these things are all kind of good for that kind of stuff. As you can see, my hand is now purple. So Indians use them to make purple dye. Useful little vine or bush, woody plant. But let's see. Ah, here we go. Just trying to name off a few plants that some people may or may not have growing in their backyard that they didn't really think of it, but it is helpful to wildlife. This guy here, burnweed. Best way to identify it is down below. It kind of dies from the bottom up, and then those little things, these things here, before too long, are going to turn into like fluff balls, and those will be all the seeds It's like a dandelion. It's actually not bad habitat because, again, deer eat them, birds eat them, so not bad habitat. It comes about with disturbance, primarily fire, hence the name. And it's an early successional plant, so it's going to come to an area within about a year or two after a fire. It'll stick around for a while. So if you have a place where you're trying to grow pine trees, and you burn the area, burn weed's probably going to pop up quite a bit. Nothing bad, but yeah. So basically, animals like structure, and they also like not open spaces. They like places to hide, and they like things to eat. So you can get all that. You have some decent place for some sort of animals. And the cool thing about habitat is everything is habitat, from your backyard to the roof of your house to the rose bush you plant for whatever reason. Everything is some sort of habitat to something. And even if you don't do anything to it, you're still affecting it. So management is key. Sometimes it's better to take a hands-off approach, but you gotta know when to. But anyway, guys, just wanted to make this video here and show y'all a few plants that you probably you may or may not have in your backyard, that you may or may not have thought too much about in the past. But everything has a purpose. Even those annoying weeds, that annoying privet, it all can be useful. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see everybody in the next one.